Mike. We're here again with the Kids Corner with Mike. We've got lots of questions that we want to ask you about children and spines. And today we wanted to delve in a little bit into the big thing about the neck posture for children. And one question I have first of all is that when do we develop a neck curvature? How early? And also, what can we do to give children better and stronger necks? So they're not like the adults that you and I see in practice who can't hold their head upright.
Okay, so first thing that is the most important to understand for any new parents out there is that your baby doesn't pop out looking exactly like you in terms of curves. So we develop our curves as we move through life, and it's how we use our body that gives us those curves. It's one of the things we know from the later research. You don't just develop it, you have to actually mold it that way. And so one of the first curves that starts to come in is what we call a neck curve or the cervical curve. So babies start off in a C shape like this, and as they start to lift their heads from being on their tummy, they start to bend out that neck. So that's the first curve that starts to kick in. Generally, when kids start to get what we call neck tension, and they can start to be able to head righting is the word I'm looking for. And they start to get a head righting reflex. It means that the neck muscles are kicking in, and it means those neck muscles are working on that cervical curve. Now, what can we do to be able to help that? So the best way to get a better, faster cervical curve, and a cervical curve that's going to work the best, is to get them on their tummy. Babies on their tummy is like an adult in the gym. I want you to kind of make that analogy. So if you feel it's time to go and work out, put your baby on their tummy, because that's what's going to kick in that cervical curve. But not only that, it does that, but it also makes the shoulders strong. It makes them strong to be able to take weight through the arms. It really preps them for the next couple of steps that are going on. So if we're looking at cervical neck curves, they arrive at around 3 months, and they can be really made to work really, really well by getting them on their tummies.
So how often does parents need to put the babies on the tummies, and how long and how often?
Okay, really, really good question. So I want to preface that by saying the tiny little prem babies in the neonatal ICU do an hour a day. So they can do an hour a day. Our big galumphing babies who are home and are healthy and huge, they can happily do an hour a day. But it's not an hour all at once.
Yeah.
So the idea is we really want to pop them down to tolerance. So I don't want it to be an upset thing. And in fact, to make it easier, and we know from the research now, the more we have you as the parent on the ground with the baby, the longer they're going to tolerate being there. Kind of a silly thing to work out, but I mean, the research is there now.
And are there other things you can do to kind of build up towards it or facilitate? You know, are there places you can put the baby on the tummy to help it?
Absolutely. So the first way you facilitate it is actually just carrying your baby instead of lying them down on their back or having them in a stroller or what have you. So you can happily have them popped into a carrier. You can carry them in their arms. What we know is that the neck really works hard. It's doing a lot of work when they're in that position. So that starts off really nicely. The second one is going to be anywhere they're on their tummy counts. So if they're on your chest on their tummy, that absolutely counts. We can move from there to then moving them onto a surface. But again, when they're on a surface or they're like down on the floor, they don't want to be there by themselves. So again, you're involved all the time. From carrying to having them on your tummy to having them on their tummy on a surface, you're always there.
And the last thing is that many parents who come into us and they bring the babies to us, they say, oh, my little baby's neck is so strong. Now that's slightly contentious, isn't it?
Yes. So they're not supposed to be strong right in the beginning. Like I said, they develop that. They get to that. And the problem is if you have a baby who's got a neck that's really held in this position, it might not be a good thing. They might be holding it there because they don't have another option. And again, when we talk about being on their tummy and being strong, we don't just focus on the neck. We're talking about the torso. We're talking about core, like we talked about from the last video. We're talking about into the shoulders. We're talking about up to the neck. And all of it has to be strong, not just that neck. If we see a little baby with a neck like this, in fact, we call it TV shoulders. Remember when we used to sit like this and watch the TV? That's exactly what they get, and that's not good.
Lovely. And so posture is not automatic, it's active, isn't it? And something we have to work for. Yeah. Right, lovely. Thank you so much. Look forward to the next.
Go, bye. See you then.
Bye.